here, and this is my second one today. And without even knowing it or thinking about it, I've had two fabulous Latina women on today. So I'm so excited. This is Yvette Rose. I'm just so happy to talk to you and have you on this chat because we've known each other. I don't even know, like how long?
Let's see, probably, I would say at least definitely over a decade. The last time I did a celebration with you actually, it was fun. We were at my girlfriend Tina's house and you did tarot reading.
Yes, oh my God, that was a great night. That was, yeah. I still have it in my head. So she is a wellness coach, health coach, who focuses on the gut. So we're going to talk about the gut tonight, and we're going to get into all that because some of you may be squinching and going, what does that mean? And she's got these bars now, all this amazing stuff. So this is us also catching up. So
I love it. Yeah.
I'm still drinking red wine. She's probably having water or smoothie. Good for her.
Wait, I could pull out my bong. Like I do. I smoke my weed. That and it's legal here.
Oh, that's a whole nother chat.
That's about the gut, you know.
That is true. That is true. And it's also a new moon. So this is perfect. So it's like two brujas catching up and chatting.
Right.
So we met in New York. She is now in LA. And so what took you to LA? I'd love to know because I'm sure something fun.
You know, it's an interesting, I had a breakdown. So we met because it was a networking, women's business networking group. And I was building my company, Joule Body at the time. And in 2013, I was having like some of the best times of the company. 2014, I found out my best childhood friend had glioblastoma, and she had just had a baby, a 6-month-old baby. That turned out to be a really hard year for my business, and I struggled through making it, and I was taking care of her. In 2015, she was getting worse. I was still struggling with my own family dynamics and helping her and building the business. I had a nervous breakdown.
Okay.
And you know, I looked in the mirror and I weighed like 95 pounds and I looked like I was 80 years old. And she had already passed away. The business was failing. And I closed the doors overnight and retreated. And what I didn't realize, you know, you talk about bruja, was that I couldn't beg a friend to be around me. Like no one wanted to be around me. So that was.
Wow. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that. Her energy is absolutely amazing, loving, kind, and giving. I can't imagine that coming from you. So that shocks me. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, it was. I mean, you probably wouldn't have come. Like no one, the people, it was just a vibration at the time. I was in a low frequency space. And so for about a year and a half, it was pretty dark. And my husband had an opportunity. He had been working in both LA and New York, and his company asked him if he'd want to move. And he asked me, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. You know? And so we packed up. I never in my life thought I'd ever leave New York City. I mean, the vibe in New York is, for me, it's how I exist. So when we came here, it was an experience, and I was open to seeing what it would do. I was formulating these bars at the time. This was 11 years in the works. Oh, look, I got something for you.
Oh, I love that.
I'm going to send this to you. You have to text me. You have to text me address. I'm sending that to you. So I came here knowing that I wanted to launch these bars, and hearing from the East Coast that West Coast, especially LA, was very.
Eat those up. They love those. I'm sure
they love the health and wellness stuff. So when I came here, I started learning more about a different kind of existence, where I started tapping into more spirituality, clairvoyancy, and really just grounding. I mean, I live in the mountains, which I never in a billion years thought I'd do. And I had always been working with gut health. I had always been studying gut health. And what I started, you know, as science started meeting mysticism, you start to understand why is it that, there's energetics that help us as we're laying out our life's path. And so the energetics comes from all of the chemicals, all of the microbiotas that's going on inside of the gut. And so as I was here trying to understand, I had all this science understanding what the gut microbiota was. But when I came to LA, I started to understand the mysticism behind it, the energetics behind the gut. So it is, it is the gut to mind connection. The gut is the endocrine system. And so anything that you put inside of the gut creates an experience.
Right.
And it can either block the experience or make the experience more enhanced. And that could be like sleeping or, sex or anything, I mean, it really is a chemistry. Even, this sex is a chemical. It's like some of us get really horny. Well, it's because we have the ability to have those endorphins, testosterones to have that conversation, right?
Before we skip past that location thing, because before we went live, we were talking about like, I feel more alive here, and she's liking that LA vibe, and I did not respond well to California. But I also, and I love that you talk about the mountains and everything, because I've been blessed enough to go on press trips, and I tell people to travel. And that for me is how I do it. Like, I love having those aha moments, whether it's out in the forest or with the mountains. So, and I see that tree behind you, which is, or whatever that is, grass tree, that looks lovely. So you feel now, because it's calmer there, definitely calmer than New York. So that is something that is also part of the gut, correct? And what we can do for ourselves, like going and having that peace and finding that environment. And I'd say it's nature. It's very much a lot of nature. So nature is a big piece of it, correct?
100%. It's just like the wine that you're drinking. I mean, it's like the grapes that it's the vibration of how the grower, it matters. Like I see a lot of what you talk about. It matters what the grower is experiencing with those grapes. Yeah.
So can you break down exactly what gut wellness, gut health is? Because I know some people like, I don't know what that means, because it became a term. I know what it means, but there are people who are going to be confused. Can you give us a little more detail about that?
That's really interesting. When I made these bars, I thought it was going to be, I thought people were going to receive the fact that it was a gut health bar really quickly. But what I quickly learned is that when people hear gut health, sometimes they think they're going to shit a lot. Okay, so
that may not be fun. If you're about to get on a plane, I'm not going to eat that gut bar. Or go
exactly. I'm not going to be home, so I'm not going to do. That is actually not what it is at all. So gut health is really about the communication between what is going on in here and what's going on in here. And the more diverse we are with our guts, then the more diverse we are with the chemistry that's going into the brain. So it is really about understanding the reaction of what we eat, how it creates diversity inside of the gut, and whether or not it releases inflammation and then allows the information to be sent over. Some women struggle with weight gain and they don't understand why. Well, if you look at the diets that they're having, or the lifestyle, not just the diet, the lifestyle that they're having, then it's a very inflammatory lifestyle, and the gut holds our inflammation.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I love how you describe that. That makes sense. I can understand that. What are some things we can do for some of us indulged a lot the last few months, guilty. What are some things we can do for our gut wellness, and what should maybe some food, or what should we be doing, or what are some of the things people do that they shouldn't be doing or should be cautious of? I have so many questions. Can you tell?
Yeah, so you have to think about inflammatory responses, and that's how I describe it. It's an inflammatory response. So is being stressful something that's going to help my inflammatory response or make it worse? If your inflammation gets bigger and bigger, and inflammation is caused by it could be toxic relationships, it can be a toxic environment, it can be the toxic foods, it can be the toxic thoughts. It's like all of these things are inflammatory responses. So when you take a look at your lifestyle, the circle of life, you need to look at how much time am I spending in spirituality? How much time am I spending in healthier habits? How much time am I spending in healthier relationships, in focusing on what my life purpose is? So you take a look at all of that. Then you're able to see whether or not you're providing gut diversity, because the gut responds to your behavior. So the gut, if like, I don't know if you've ever heard, but there was like a 98-year-old man who like lived on bacon, cigarettes, who the hell knows? And it was like anti everything, but he was the happiest person.
Yeah. Happens. Yes, absolutely.
So it really comes with like, what is your vibration? Like he said he had a loving family around him. He loved the work that he did. And so we have to take a look at the whole circle of what it is that we're doing in our lifestyle. There are plenty, and I've had plenty of clients who drink their green juices, eat their salads, do their soul cycle classes, and they are as bloated and inflamed as someone who doesn't do that.
God, yes.
They're miserable. Their lives are not fulfilling them. Yeah. So you have to take a look at the whole picture.
I love that. Preach, girl.
That's gut health. That's, the microbiotas respond, the bacteria starts to respond when the inflammation is lowered. And that's what you want to do. You want to get the inflammation to sort of ease down. So a happy person who isn't eating healthy versus someone who's eating healthy and is really unhappy can have the same inflammatory response.
That might be me. So are you drinking a smoothie? What's happening in that little glass of yours? Something healthy, I'm sure.
So talk about urban girl. I grew up in the projects in Bushwick and Coney Island.
Brooklyn.
So for me to have, I actually have a lemon tree. It came with the house.
That's so friggin' California.
I know. So I have lime from my lime tree water. That's what I'm drinking. And then I have a green tea because I have a long night ahead of me. So I figured I'd drink my green tea.
Very good. I love that. So tell me a little bit more about your bars, which I probably need more of. I got to make sure I get some. So they're for people on the go. So
yes. So when I formulated these bars, so one of the things, I am a Puerto Rican. I was raised in a very Puerto Rican household. So fried foods and just carbohydrates. That was the kinds of food I grew up in. Right. When I had my first son, who had a lot of health issues, I needed to learn how to be healthier. So I started tapping into what it was to actually eat a salad, or
beans and rice, right?
Yeah, I got off the subway, and there was the Chinese restaurant where I got the fried chicken, and then there was the Dominican restaurant where I got the plátanos, and then that was what I ate with.
It's like the Bronx. It's like the Bronx, yeah.
So then I needed to learn how to eat healthier, and so I started to learn about these different ingredients. And for me, it's like I don't necessarily love, even to this day, 21 years later that I've been doing this kind of lifestyle, I don't necessarily love a lot of the foods. I don't love turmeric. I don't love fennel. I don't love kale. But I realize that sometimes it is about balance. It is about like providing my gut the nutrition that it needs. So when I was formulating these bars, what I was thinking about was, if she was anything like me, she wanted to eat something healthy, and she wasn't always going to have time to make it for herself. And so what did I think was important for her? And that was anti-inflammatory ingredients, and ingredients that she wouldn't necessarily put in her daily diet. So if I could put it all in a convenient on the go product, then she wouldn't have to think about it.
I love that.
That's Boom! I made one for energy and one for focus.
Ooh, okay. That's perfect.
Thank you.
I love it. Are you going to expand on your bars eventually, or your?
I actually just made a CBD tea line that's coming out.
Okay, look at me. I'm like, that may be the one.
I am big on cannabis. When I moved here, so when I was in New York and the breakdown and anxiety was beyond, I couldn't meditate. I couldn't drink enough to get myself grounded. And so when I came here, I learned that marijuana was legal. And that was to me like, what the fuck? And well, I actually walked into MedMen. I was like, wait, this is like insane. This is like the Apple Store for weed. So I learned. And so then I went back, and of course the scientific mind that I have, I wanted to understand, like, what will this do for my body and mind? And what you learn is that there had been research done since Nixon, since, early days, where it was proven how beneficial cannabis was to the gut. It had the cannabinoids. It eased inflammation. It also helped the receptors of stress and parasympathetic system. So I wanted to create products, again, for the same reason, because I know women are very empathic and they connect very much to the energetics around them. So I wanted to create a product that would help them just show up in a presence and feel less of that anxiety. And I love drinking. So during the day, I can't really drink. And so I was like, why not make a bunch of teas? So I have a bunch of teas coming up with CBD, and hopefully we can do it with THC as well.
When is that? Do you have a date when that's coming?
It should be in the next few weeks, actually.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm excited. Okay, I want to try both of them. All right, I'm in. I'm
like,
so I want to go back to, what do you cook? Do you like to cook? I'm assuming you like to cook. Okay, what do you cook? What does somebody like you make?
So I make I make anything. I mean, I can make cuisines. That's the thing about the Latino culture, is that we love flavor. We need to have flavor.
Yeah. So you have recipes on your site, though. If I'm not mistaken. All right. Yeah. So I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, what are you making that I may need to be making? Like something special to, Okay. So I'll have to look up your recipes.
I think the trick is, what I've learned to do is take like a lot of the different kinds of recipes that would have normally been unhealthy. I've changed the oils that are used, changed some of the herbs that are used, or the amount of time they're being cooked, so that we can still have the health benefits and the flavor. Is, for me, that's what's important, is the flavor. I mean, there's one thing you can't replace like a fried chicken or fried pork chop. Or I don't really eat meat much anymore, but those are things that you just got to dive into it and enjoy it and know that it's not going to be the healthiest thing, but that's where balance comes in.
Okay, that's fair. All right. So so you are still a coach. How does somebody work with you? Like, say I'm like, oh my God, woo, my gut, girl, help me out.
Yeah, your gut. Yeah, you know what? I asked, I'm going to show you what happens with me. So I, like I said, when I came here, I started tapping into the fact that I had the intuition. I was clairvoyancy. I was getting a lot of downloads. People would be talking to me, and I just. And so the past 2 years, I've really been teaching myself how to not interfere, how to make sure that that I have permission, if I do get these downloads, to share it with them. And so when I work with clients, a lot of what I do relies on that kind of intuition, because I can tell you, okay, you need to eat this or you need to do that. The truth is, unless looking at you, feeling your vibration, I can't really tell if let's just say I have you add chlorophyll into your diet. if that's really going to be beneficial. I've had clients in all sorts of walks of life where I just get channeled what it is that they need to do. I have the education to understand the nutrition side of things, understand how to work with the physical body. I am a meditation breathwork instructor, so I understand all of that. But each person is an individual. And so I am grateful that I've been able to tap into intuition. And this is an example of, like, I worked with this client. This is a 24-year-old girl. She had alopecia. When she came to me, her doctor told her hair was not going to grow back. When I looked at her, I heard her guide saying, that's not her story. Mm-hmm. Tell her hair is going to grow back. And we worked together for 6 months. This is her now.
Right.
So so working with me comes in all sorts of ways.
It sounds a lot like me. So that's, I totally get that. Like, it's like when the intuition kicks in, like, you teach people like an individual. And I think that that's best. I think that the problem with some coaches or psychics or healers is they go to a school and then it's like they're taught one thing and they try to put everybody in a box. But that's not the way it works, especially when you're getting the guides coming through, the intuition. They're talking to you and you like, no, this is the way. I love that. That's beautiful. Oh, that's amazing.
Well, you know what I learned. So I thought it was always it is who I am, but I had an issue with, like, the friend that we did the dinner party with. She doesn't talk to me anymore. A majority of the people that were in that place, they don't talk to me anymore. Why? Because what I didn't know then that I know now is that I used to be channeled a lot of information, and what I did is I just blurted out. And so people would say, Yvette tells it like it is, or, Yvette has a big mouth.
What's wrong with that?
Well, that's the problem. Not everybody wants to hear it, and so what I've learned being here is allowing myself to ask permission. Like, is this for their highest good? Do they need to know this information? Yeah. Are they going to receive it from a heart-centered space? And if the answer is no, just shut the fuck up. Not like I don't know in my head what the fuck's going on, but
I know. It's like, sometimes it's like you plus it's like, you're not my client. I'm gonna mind my business. You do you. I'm gonna do me. And I hear you. Like, your tribe finds you. Like, I've lost people in the telling it like it is, but I've also, universe then brings people back. Like, you get new people. So that's what's even better. So I get it, girl. I love that. Do you.
That's it.
So what else do you have? You've got bars, you've got tea. I'm really excited about this tea. Do you know, what are some of the flavors you have coming out in your tea?
It's really funny.
So tell me, is it a surprise?
No. So for me, it's all about biohacking. I want, so one of my favorite biohackers right now is this guy called Dave Asprey, and he is the founder of Bulletproof Coffee. And so for him, it was about, like, finding ways to put things into our system that would allow us to be sort of that more dynamic when we step into the world. Well, he comes from a male point of view. I see myself as the women side of biohacking and the feminine side of biohacking. And for me, biohacking is women fluctuate in their energy depending on their cycle. Women fluctuate on their confidence depending on their cycle. Even if you don't get your period, you still have this flow of estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. So you're constantly, women, this is what we're constantly doing with our emotions. So I wanted to create products that would help her, like, if she was required to be confident and step into her power, but she's about to get a period and her whole body and mind is telling her that she's not that person, then how can she biohack that so that she's able to step up and present? So the teas are, I did an adaptogen tea. I did an energy tea. I did a focus tea. So I did a detox tea. The adaptogen tea has holy basil in it and ashwagandha. The energy tea has cascara, which is the same ingredient we put inside the bar, which has a lot of iron inside of it. So it's really great for energy. And then I did a focus tea, which has ginger inside of it, again, for the same the same kind of grounding experience. And then I'm working on a chamomile and nettle tea for nighttime detoxification.
That I want. I'm like, perfect. I'm like, okay, I got to make my shopping list. So it's a crazy time. I'm sure you know this. We all know this. Do you have any tips on what we can do for gut health in this crazy, like, you know, as people are saying, it's like an extension of 2020, like what's going on. Thankfully, we're about to see a shift, not about to get into politics, but what do you have any tips, like in the next few months, what we can do to kind of keep ourselves from, I don't know, our gut health, our wellness?
100%. I think meditation. Okay. You have to find time to just sit and breathe and be. There are apps for that. YouTube has guided meditation practice for that. On my Instagram at Joule Goddess, you can find, I share meditation practices. You really, or you could just sit and breathe for a few minutes, but setting the time out to meditate. And here's how I work. Like, I can tell a client who is not into the esoteric, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, of how I exist. So I'll tell a client, I need you to have chlorophyll and I need you to meditate. Now, for them, they see chlorophyll, it's a food product. They see meditation. Oh yeah, there's been a lot of science to back that shit up. For me, it's chlorophyll is plant medicine. Connect with the earth, connect with what the earth is providing you to heal. And meditation is allowing you to tap into higher awareness. It is allowing you to disconnect from this and connect to something bigger. And, you know, when you look at why AA is successful, well, it's successful because it teaches you that you are not that there is something bigger than you. And when you think of there's something bigger than you, there's something greater than you, and you have access to it, that is meditation. Meditation is just like, okay, if I want to manifest, let's just say I want to manifest this home, and I want to manifest this home, but if I were to sit down and see, where am I putting a majority of my energy? Is it going towards reaching that ultimate goal, or am I sitting in negative thinking of what was, or the fear of the future, you know? And so meditation just allows you to see, like, where am I? Where is the energetics of my time going in space? Well, that's why right now more than ever, you have to sit down and not allow yourself to get caught up with what the media is saying is happening, or what fears your parents might have, or what's going on. Just really being with you. And that's to me, that's the ultimate thing you can do for gut health.
Amen. I mean, it's so interesting. So many great things have happened to me during this period, with creativity and everything, stuff I wasn't even expecting. So I'd say I guess I've tapped into that. How have you been doing during this? I mean, I know you teach it and do it, but how have you been doing?
There's a beautiful woman that I follow on TikTok called Goddess Mia. And she has this song that she uses to represent. She challenges people that are doing things that are extremely racist. And so, you know, she's had her life targeted as, and she has this mantra of a lioness that comes out. And I feel that's where I stand right now. I feel like I understand what my goal is. And so I'm just really staying focused.
Yeah.
You know, there's no deviation. COVID over here, fears from my family over here, anxieties, job losses, hunger, you name it, political, racism. We've got all of these movements. Well, I'm not looking to save every situation or be a part of all this. I know what I need to do. I want to teach women to be intuitive. I want to teach women to know that they are powerful and they have the ability to create the life that they desire. And that's where I'm standing. And so for me, this all has taught me that if I get caught up in all that, it's going to make me really anxious and depressed. So I'm staying focused.
Focus. Hey,
Focus.
little focus. How can people find you? What's your website so they can find you?
It's best to find me. I have my Instagram at Joule Goddess is really where I connect. I have a website. It's Your Gut Healer, but that's mostly designed for corporations. And then I have JouleGoddess.com, which is where you can find the bars. The bars are also on Amazon, but you can find them on the site as well. So I don't push Amazon as much because Amazon is an animal. They take a big percentage of sales, but I'm on it.
I know.
To order, but
so no, but this is great because now people are trying to be more supportive of smaller businesses. So this is great. Like you can get them from you. So go into your site is best.
Perfect. Goddess, yes. Wait, before we go, I want to. Are you still doing tarot readings?
Yes, I am.
I want one. Will you do one for me?
Now, yeah, we will plan that. We'll make that happen. I actually, I'm a full-blown clairvoyant. I don't even.
I know you are.
I use the cards and then sometimes I just push them aside because then I start popping. But yeah, I totally still do them.
When did you learn that you were clairvoyant? Because when I met you, you were, and honestly, you were one of the first people that I became friends with from that world. Because that world would scare the hell out of me. Now it's just,
I knew, but it took me a while to really embrace the full clairvoyant part of it, and then I did work with another clairvoyant to train it. It's just been an amazing thing. And so I'm known as Witch on Wine, and I don't hide that when I talk about the wine, and winemakers actually really get into it because we talk about nature and we talk about the moon. So this has been like such an interesting journey to put all of that together. And I read a lot of people in the booze business and food business. So it's been great. It's been wonderful. And I've done a lot of readings, of course, during COVID because people have questions. I am writing a book. I thought I'd spend more time writing, but I spent more time doing readings, and it's fine. And a lot of women around the world, it's been great. So, for me, it's also my own healing. It's also learning what's going on and being on the pulse of what women are into, because I still do that, even though I do all this other stuff. But we can totally do a reading and everything. You and I. We have so much more to talk about. Do you ever make it to New York? I mean, not now, clearly.
Well, no. Actually, so my son is turning 21. He still lives in New York City. And of course, my whole family is there. So I am waiting to see what happens with the inauguration.
Yeah.
And then, yes, I'm coming to New York. And yes, you are my first people to.
We've got to make sure we connect, because I have not seen you in the flesh in years.
Yeah, in years.
But I am grateful for Twitter, because I think that's where I kind of was like, oh yeah, it was one of those. Hey, girl,
I've been following you and
I follow you on everything, but when you follow people, you don't always see everything, right? Yeah. It's like, or you like something and you're busy, you're liking stuff. I knew you had the bars, but it's like one of those things where I am trying to be more aware of what people are doing as well. And since I'm home, I'm able, even though I've got a million things, I'll be like, oh, okay. And this month, I want to bring as much wellness on, because I know we've all, my people, we've been drinking and eating a lot. January is a little bit more about wellness. So you were perfect. So I am just happy, and I would love for you to come. Again, I'm going to have a radio show soon. We'll talk about that. I want you to come on that. So there's a lot going on. So I'm just happy we're still connected. And I love that you have the bars. And you
don't have to buy. I'm going to send you the bars and the teas. As soon as the teas come, they should come in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to pack it up for you, and I'll send it over to you. Either I'll send it personally because I'll be in New York, or
I would love even more. I would love that even more. You can wait till you come. I would love that. I want to, because I'm on the go all the fucking time. So it seemed like this is perfect for me anyway. I need to have like your bars in my bag all the time. So
what would you say is your biggest health struggle right now?
Right now? So the interesting thing, which I figured out, is because I was going to I go to a lot of wine lunches and dinners, but it's fancy restaurants, but I think I ate more well-balanced during that time than I'm doing now. Some days I'm not hungry. I don't eat. I eat later. Since I'm more nocturnal, I'm up and then I'm like, oh shit, I didn't eat yet. Or so the lack of nutrition. So I'm now very much more aware of that. And I realized, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not having the salads or whatever. So even though I was having these extravagant meals, 4 or 5 courses, they were well balanced. And I didn't even, I mean, I've lost some weight. That's fine. But eating well balanced is, I think, a part of the problem right now during COVID. So I'm trying.
And you feel how do you think that's affecting you?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't go out as much as I used to, so I can't say I'm slower, but maybe it's affecting my sleeping, though I don't sleep much anyway in this. They've got kids, you know, when you're in New York, it's like, okay, the kids are running at 3 a.m. Yay. So maybe it's affecting my sleep. My sleep has always been a thing for me, though.
So that's your melatonin production.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I've never been much of a sleeper anyway, and I majored in theater, so we were always up building in the middle of the night. I am more nocturnal. If I could sleep all day, I probably would, and be up at night, because I love the dark. I love all of it. And at 3 a.m., I'm popping, even though, I'm going to bed at 9. Doesn't happen, except Sundays. Though the weird thing is, now I'm rambling. Everybody's like, we don't care. But Sundays, I can get into bed at 5:30 or 6. It's a weird thing that I love to do. It's like my thing of, I love to get into bed really early so that it gets me going for the week. But the rest of the week, I'm up, I'm popping. Like I'm, you know, I got a wine test to study for. I got stuff I'm writing now. When I do these interviews, I get jazzed up. So now I'm like thinking about stuff. So for me, it's like being too much in here and being so creative. So, so I know that that's food, and I need to go eat after this, because I really haven't eaten a day. That's part of my problem. Lack of food.
So if you were to put like the list, if you had the 3 top reasons why you think you need to have a healthier diet, number 1 would be to help your melatonin production, your sleep, better quality sleep. What would be number 2?
For better, I mean, health reasons, of course, like feeling good, though, you know,
health reasons.
Yeah, health reasons. I mean, normally before all this, I was really, really busy, and I have to say I am really busy now. Like, it's crazy. I don't even know. I'm like, so I'm kind of on my same schedule, but it's more in a condensed space. So energy, and I guess attention.
Yeah, that was, I was hoping you'd say that. I think it's for me, what I'm getting for you is getting more grounding foods. So getting you to eat more like beets and yams and so
yeah, I mean, I don't feel ungrounded. I just have a lot going on. It's right. Yeah. So like yesterday, I've been in a master class for my book that I won a scholarship. I was in a master class for 2 days, which was fucking amazing. So now I'm like, okay. And when you have this international author telling you, I can't wait to fucking read your book, you're like, you damn right, I got to write the book. And then you're like, all right,
now I really got to write that book.
I mean, this woman is so amazing. Like, her book was in like 12 people were bidding on her book in the USA alone, and that wasn't even Europe. So when that happens, you're like, here I am. Oh my God, this is okay. So, and that was just a high for me. And you know, now I'm doing Bitcoin stuff. So I'm like, there's just all these highs going on, and I'm like, wow. So for me, this has been an interesting time, because I am not depressed at all. I'm feeling fucking amazing, and I'm making interesting connections. So I'm trying to stay on that too, because I know my goals. Like you're focused. Being that focused, I know at any minute, and I'm feeling my life already changing. So it's that. So I am grounded in, I got shit to do. It's just, when do I sleep? When do I? And I'm so pumped up. It's like, I'm so excited about all of it. I don't think I've ever been this excited about all the shit that was going on, because there's just so much opportunity for me right now. I'm like, ah! So it's just a good space, but I know a lot of people are struggling. So then I'm like, oh God. So it's that too. You know, and then it's like doing, and so I have readings that I'm doing as well in the midst of this, and you're like, and somebody gets on the phone and they're crying with you and you're like, wow, yeah. So this other shit is going on while all this is going on. So it's just an interesting space that I'm in a good way though. So I can't really complain. I've making more money than I've ever made in my life. Just a lot is happening and I'm happy. But
when we met at that women's networking group, you know, I just loved your energy. I don't even remember what the fuck you.
I was gonna say, like, what was his name? I don't know. And then today, like yesterday, I was like, how did we meet? Because it's been a while, and I was like, there was a woman. I remember lots of women, and
Allison from Goji Cookies. And there was another girl it was me, you, Allison, and this other girl who was a dietitian. Shit, I forgot her name. But I don't remember what was the career path that you were looking to develop.
Oh, at that time I was doing readings. I think I was probably life coaching, which I'm not a life coach. I'm like, that's not my jam.
Got it.
Yeah. The psychic thing ended up taking over, and it's like the best thing ever for me. It's been great. So,
and I remember you being funny.
Thank you. I like that. I was a theater major, so I think that's where all the animation comes from. And like I told you, maybe at the time I was still dabbling in the entertainment business. I don't know, because that was a while ago, and now I'm kind of back, and that's a whole other weird cycle considering the changes and what's going on in it. But I'm excited about it. So yeah. But that was a great night. I do remember the night. I remember us, but I don't remember a lot of other things. I don't remember a lot of the people though, so that's interesting.
I'd say about this. There were probably, I knew a lot of them were my friends. I probably talked to one of them out of all of them.
Wow.
You know,
there was a friend of yours who had a skincare line. Do you talk to her? I don't even remember.
That was Tata Harper.
Yeah.
That was the event. It was me and Tata Harper.
That was Tata Harper?
That was Tata Harper.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
I've not fucking realized that.
Wow.
Yeah. She's done well for herself.
You know what though? What you're feeling right now is, and this is the same thing I'm feeling, is that when we are living in our life's purpose, doesn't matter what's happening outside of us, because you can see people working in like the dumpiest situations, and they're really happy about it because they feel like they are living their lives, doing their life's purpose. So Tata Harper was an example. She had such a passion for making this women beauty products that were really from the.
That's so. I never would have put that together. She was so lovely to me, and I have bought those products. I bought products, Tata. I didn't realize it was the same person, and I did buy something right after that event. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, at least I can say I've met Tata Harper. Remember me? I didn't remember her, but hey, remember her.
Yeah, that was. I don't even remember how many years.
A long time, but it was.
She was brand spanking new.
Yeah, and I remember going, God, your products are so great. Well, I guess everybody thinks so too.
The vibration behind, the intention behind it is what, you know, and that's what, that's what, when I see you make me feel good. You know, I remember being really nervous at that party, and these were women that I was friends with for years prior. But when you walked in, and I'm going to go there. I'm going to go into the difference in Black and brown culture, because it wasn't until I moved to LA that I realized I had been living in this environment that was all white. And I didn't understand that I was different than them. I knew
the only women of color there. Or were we?
There was not one woman of color. You were the woman of color.
No, I said, weren't we? Like, we were the
only.
Yeah, I'm like that night we were the only women of color there, right?
And that's what. And when I saw you when you walked in, I remember feeling a relief. And yet, I knew you so much more less than I knew these women. But I felt like. And now that I'm here, and now that I'm hearing all of the, you know, all of the conversations of people, I'm like, holy shit, like I had been living in that, and you're just trying to assimilate, but you don't realize within that, it's like I couldn't lose myself, because yes, I am, I am Latin, and I'm Puerto, whatever, it's like, and yet now, I realized as we're talking, I remember when you walked through the door, I remember going, oh, she's here. And it's just nice to that we're now, integrating, and like now we're understanding. I told Michael for the first time in my life, I don't want to get a nose job. I wanted a nose job. Why? Because every show and every picture that I saw was of a white woman with a small nose. And yeah, and I never did it. And I didn't understand why didn't I ever do it. It wasn't money. I never did it. I went to the doctor and I was like, And now I'm like, I love my nose. Why? Because I'm seeing Zendaya. Like we were watching Zendaya last night. And it's like, I'm seeing people like you and I with noses that are different.
Stunning, and she's stunning. Yeah, like I'm so glad you didn't do it either. You're beautiful. I'm like, you wouldn't look like you. It'd be like, okay. What?
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be like, it's something different, girl. I ain't gonna bring it up. I'm glad you didn't do it. You're gorgeous. So yes.
It's just, it's the vibration. So when we're stepping in, and where a lot of people are feeling the darkness and the heaviness, people like us who are actually stepping into what we're supposed to be doing are not feeling that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because in every situation, no matter how dark the situation is, people do come out okay, and people do come out ahead, better than okay. And you and I are going to be that person, that because we're doing what we need to do. You help people feel better, and in doing what you do, and I help people feel better. So how could we fail in doing what we do?
Amen, sis. Oh my God, I'm so glad we have reconnected again. This has been awesome.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And what a great day to do it, new moon and all. And I hope we're gonna do something offline. Thank you, everybody who's been watching.
Thank you.
I hope that you've gotten some gut wellness stuff, and you can go to our website. You're going to find out more. And we just hope you're feeling better.
That's it.
Wherever you are, I hope you're feeling better. And wherever you are watching, feel free to comment at any time. I'm on all the platforms. As exhausting as that can be, I will respond to you. We're in 7 places right now. I don't know if you realize we're live in 7 places, but people normally watch more later. So respond, what have you. There's going to be a link to her.
Buy a bar.
Yeah, buy a bar, because you need it in this crazy time to feel better.
You want it. You need it. You gotta have it.
Bar. So thank you, everybody.
I love you.
And have a great night.